Hi, this is Bibi Beba. This interview is both an assignment for my Financing of Nutrition and Wellness course taught by Marcy Anderson as a part of my master's program in Northeastern University, and for all corporate wellness enthusiasts who would like to learn more on corporate wellness. A 2008 survey of large manufacturing employers reported that 77% offered some kind of formal health and wellness program. Many companies like Johnson & Johnson, LL Bean, and Safeway have award-winning and recognized workplace wellness systems. Besides, half of the employers with at least 50 employees offer some kind of wellness program. Several well-publicized case studies have suggested a positive return on employers' investment in prevention. For every dollar invested in the program, the employer saves more than the dollar spent. To be exact, a 2010 meta-analysis of the literature shows medical costs fall about $3.27 for every dollar spent on wellness programs. And absentee day costs fall by about $2.73 for every dollar spent. So today I'm delighted to have Randi Dukoff here to share her experience with us and give a scoop on the best tactics to get into the world of corporate wellness. Randi Dukoff is a certified nutrition, health and exercise coach, licensed metabolic typing advisor, and is licensed in functional diagnostic nutrition. After working in her own company, Core and More Health and Fitness, she and her partners have come together to create Vital Advantage Consulting to offer customized wellness solutions for corporations and engagement for their employees. She also teaches other wellness and health coaches on how they can succeed in corporate wellness arena. I personally know she's a successful teacher in this arena, giving professionals solid tools to go out and change the lifestyle of corporate America. Welcome, Randy. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you decided to have your own company on corporate wellness?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I love sharing this information. And for me, my background was actually finance. That's what I went to school for. At some point during the line, I didn't want to do that anymore, had kids, stopped working. And then when I went back, I realized I wasn't in the shape I wanted to be in. And I started getting very interested in health, went back to college for a degree in the sciences. I got licensed as a personal trainer, as you mentioned, all of the other certifications and licenses I went through. And I started presenting. I had my own business, and then I started presenting to companies. And I loved it, but I realized there was a way to do more. So I was going in and doing presentations, lunch and learns for people, workshops, and it was great, but it was very hard to stay accountable when you see them once or maybe 4 times a year. So I started thinking, and I went out and found the best people I could find that I knew from my background that complemented me with different strengths, different specialties, came together as partners, and our goal and our vision was to create an outcome-based program, which is what Vital Advantage does. It's an all-encompassing wellness program. We work on everything from behavior, lifestyle modification, stress reduction, food, fitness, time management. It could be financial, wellness, you name it. We just make a complete program for them. And the passion and the reason why I did it was because on my own journey, I had changed my life, gotten very healthy, felt great, and 6 years later was diagnosed with a stage 1 cancer, stage 1 breast cancer. And it turned out that doctors that I worked with at NYU said that all the changes I made had made my body and immune system so strong that I probably changed the outcome. So this was over 8 years ago now. And I did almost everything just nutrition-based, lifestyle-based, and a slight surgery. I didn't use other protocols for me. And I realized if I could meet other people in a corporate environment before they're sick, before they have an issue, and get them to change now, what an impact that would have on their future. And that was my driving force behind doing this.
Wow, that's a very impressive story. I'm so glad to hear about that, and it's very inspiring too. And I also know that you have 2 lines of businesses. As you said, one is offering the corporate wellness coaching services to various companies, the Vital Advantage Consulting, and the other is educating the other wellness professionals and health coaches on how they can become corporate wellness coaches themselves. So how do you divert your focus on these? Which one gets the majority of your time and efforts?
Teaching the coaches how to create their own businesses in corporate wellness it takes a lot of time, but it took a lot more time in the beginning, putting all of the material together, the training material, the videos, and I devoted over a year to it. And now I'm starting to update it because the industry is always changing. Mm-hmm. As far as Vital Advantage, it's the same thing. We've created so much of the core piece of the program, so to speak. The rest of it is personalized. So we do a lot of personal one-on-ones. We're in the companies very often, and each program is customized to the client's needs. So I would have to say, because Vital Advantage I have partners, mm-hmm. and the corporate wellness training, I can limit how often I do it per year, how much time I'm going to put into it. I know how much live time I have each week. It's very easy for me to balance. It wasn't always, but it is now.
So if you focus on Vital Advantage Consulting, what makes your company stand out from the crowd?
I think what makes us stand out from the crowd are the partners. All 5 of us are completely hands-on. We're involved with every company. Our backgrounds are excessive in education and experience. I think between the 5 of us, we probably have close to 70 years in health. Everybody has a different specialty, and we really identify and relate to first of all, the people that are hiring us, mm-hmm. and to the issues of their company. We try to personalize and customize every program. One thing that I think makes us very different is we realized very early on, I can go into a company and I can work with you and educate you and get you to start changing. But if your significant other at home doesn't understand what's going on, and they can't relate, you may hit a wall. Not because they're trying to sabotage you, but they just don't understand. So everything we do with a company, its employees, we make available to their spouses as well, and their kids, which I think was a huge piece that we did that nobody else did. And again, just completely personalized. We try to meet people where they are. We never come in and try to explain that you're doing everything wrong and this is how you should do it, because all 5 of us have different ways of eating, exercising, sleeping, mm-hmm. yet all 5 of us are really healthy. And what we want people to always understand is you're not doing things wrong. You're doing them the way you've been taught to. You're doing them the way that you think is right, or you're doing them the way that you've been told is okay, because as you get older, many people think there's nothing to do to change it. It's just circumstance and you accept it. So once we get in and people can see us and they learn our ages and they find out about our backgrounds and they realize that we're not intimidating, we're not there to make anyone ever feel as if they're doing their health wrong, mm-hmm. it works.
Okay. So you mentioned them a little bit, but what are the total services that you offer to your corporate clients? Do you have a list of them?
Do I have a list? We do everything from non-invasive cardiac testing.
Okay.
That we look at their heart rates, the strength of their arteries. We look at pulmonary function. We can test their carotid artery. We can determine if they're snoring, if they have issues like that. Very often we'll do biometrics because that's what the insurance companies require, mm-hmm. to have an outcome-based program. We work with them on fitness. We'll use trackers, gamification. We'll do challenges. We do stress reduction. We do credit card debt, financial wellness. Mm-hmm. Just about everything.
Wow.
A lot of it comes back to the basics: education, health education, getting the information out there, letting people be empowered, understand how to make choices, what choices work for them, mm-hmm. giving them a lot of ways to try it out on themselves and move forward with it.
Okay. So you do work with insurance companies, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have partner companies, or do you work with this corporations or this company's own insurance company? How does it work?
All different ways. If I'm working with a company that has an insurance company, well, they all do, but if their insurance company offers them something such as an HRA, which is a health risk assessment, and biometrics once a year for the employees, they may also offer them 1 or 2 presentations per year at their choice as part of their package.
Oh, okay.
Very many insurance companies also give an additional budget to the insured to spend on health education or a wellness program. In that case, I work with the insurance company and we complement what they're offering already, and we expand upon it depending upon the client's needs. Okay. Another way that we work with insurance companies is we run an outcome-based program, completely HIPAA compliant, abiding by the ACA laws, and the insurance company takes all of our information and we determine whether or not somebody met, let's call it their goals. And if they did, they can be eligible for savings on the employee portion-based part of their health insurance.
Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. Go ahead.
I was going to say they can also be penalized.
Okay.
Although most companies are not doing that yet, they can also be penalized for not participating when their company brings in a wellness program.
Oh, okay. So it's, as you mentioned, it's very personalized. I understand. So how do you split up your work among your partners? Does each partner have a certain responsibility in each project, or do you split the projects, corporations among the partners?
It depends upon the size of the corporation and, again, what their ultimate goal is. If we're working with a very large company, all 5 of us will show up and do a lot of the live pieces of it, whether it's presentation and we also video it and put it on a webinar for the entire company to see. Sometimes we split up and we fly to different states and we'll do presentations at their other locations as well. As far as the background and the education portion of it, we each took what we specialized in and we did the research and we created the core information from our backgrounds and our specialties and our knowledge.
So how do you collaborate with other wellness professionals other than your partners? Do you have certain third-party companies or contractors you work with regularly?
Because we've all been in this business for so long and have so many connections and people that we respect and know who are good in their field, if a company needs something that we can't do, we go into that data bank, so to speak, and ask them and kind of contract them out. Okay. We don't use any third-party companies to send us staff or specialty people. We really need to know that it's somebody that we respect, trust, and believe in. Because at the end of the day, if you're supplying corporate wellness and you're supplying people with education and fitness, biometrics, whatever you're doing with them, even if it's not you delivering it, it's still a reflection on you. Okay. So I want to make sure that if somebody's going into a company that's hired me to do a certain job, that the person going in there is going to do it the way I would have. And when I say that, I mean with the integrity, the value, and the background, not trying to take any shortcuts. Not that big companies would do that, but we just want to know who we're sending in.
Absolutely. What are some of the corporations you worked with so far?
We've worked with quite a few. When I was doing my own presentations, I've worked with Major League Baseball, Time Warner Cable, Sesame Workshop, Nationwide, ING. Now we're working with all sorts of law firms for wellness programs. We're working with staffing companies, outsourcing companies. I'm working with a movie company. We're working with a realty company. There's just a vast amount.
Okay. And how do you find, or you or your team find new clients?
A lot of them come from referrals. A lot of them come from talking about what we do with people, letting them understand the results, talk to people that have done it. The other thing is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been a wonderful resource for me, for people to see what I'm doing, understand what I'm doing, give them information, give them articles, give them value, and make connections that way.
Great. So these are very great tips, especially for people, nutrition enthusiasts who would like to dive into corporate wellness arena. Do you have any other tips in terms of for new starters to go out and to find clients?
Start with who you know. Everybody knows somebody that works in a business. It's really much easier if you're coming in recommended than going in completely blind. So whether you have children and parents that are working, you have friends, you have family, that's where I would start. I would just start by letting people know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and would it be possible to maybe connect you with the decision person that could bring you in or at least have a conversation.
Great tip. Thank you. Do you feel sufficiently compensated for your expertise?
Absolutely.
Okay. That is good. And what is what factors I would say influence reimbursement for your service?
For us, a lot of it is if I have to go to a third party. For instance, if I have a company of 2,000 people and I'm using a software company that's going to do all of my compilations, my downloads, they're going to keep everything HIPAA compliant. So when people get their biometrics and we now download it into a portal, they're doing that for us. So they will charge us per person. That would have a big influence if I'm working with a 5,000 person company or a 100 person company. That would change the price. Okay. As far as our expertise, it comes down to how many how often are we there and how many of us are there. So again, if I'm working with a large company that requires all 5 of us or possibly even more people to come with us, it's going to reflect in the cost.
Okay.
If it's a smaller company, I don't need to send all 5 of us. We'll always send a minimum of 2. We'll rotate so they get to experience everybody and everybody's flair, so to speak, and hear from all of us on our best points. But I don't have to charge them as much because it's 2. It's not 5.
Okay.
So that has something to do with it. And again, the length of the program. If somebody's working with me for just a challenge, a weight loss challenge, a Biggest Loser type thing, or they're working with us for a year-long program, or maybe they want to do a wellness week, a wellness month, all of that has an impact on the fee.
Okay. And as you said, each of those personalized programs will have a different price, I assume.
Right. I mean, one thing that we love to offer, not everyone takes us up on it, but most do, are personal consults. Because when we go into a company, health is such a personal topic, which I'm sure you know. And sometimes people assume that we're being brought in because of them. That's what they're thinking, even though that's not true. So we like to do personal consults, 15 to 20 minutes per employee, whether it's on Skype if they're far away, or in person at the companies that are at the locations we're at. And we find that it really makes a big difference in breaking down barriers and having people want to participate when they know that they can talk to us about whatever their issues may be, what they would like to solve for themselves. It helps us develop our program based upon the employees' needs, real needs that are coming from them, not the assumed needs from HR. And it gives the employees a different feeling, as if it's not more work coming at them. This really is for them because their employers care about them, value their health, and want them to be happy and productive.
Okay.
That adds a large cost.
Yeah. Do you use research to illustrate the financial benefits of the services you offer, or do you perform your own research? Can you share your resources with us if you do?
Sure. It's a very difficult question to answer. If somebody's hiring me to come in and do a wellness week, there's really no research there or resources that are going to say to them, this is going to save you X amount of money down the line, because there's no accountability, there's no follow-up. If I'm doing an outcome-based program, there are research and statistics. We like to do our own on each company. Now that we're in this business about 3 years, that research is coming back more and more per company. Just because something works at company A doesn't mean company B is going to have the same results. There are certain results that are being shown now that are, I'm going to call general. For instance, Harvard Business Review did a study in 2014 showing that on average, companies that are hiring outcome-based wellness programs are showing an increase in their healthcare costs of about 1 to 2%, whereas the national average is 7%. So in that way, they're saving a lot of money on their out-of-pocket expenses going forward. Then I have companies that, as you said in the beginning, for every dollar they're putting out, maybe they're saving $3 per employee based upon the results of the employees being less stressed, taking less sick days, literally taking less sick days, being more productive, especially in sales. Salespeople very often complain about time management. They're so overbooked. They have so much to do, so to speak, in such little time that they really don't have time for wellness as far as how to eat well. They feel they're out on a lot of sales calls. They're eating badly. They don't have time for fitness. We see a huge increase in less sick days, less stress days, and more production because they are happier, better, and more well-rounded, so to speak. So you've got lifestyle benefits and you've got return on investment benefits, and there's both. And I will add that there's very many companies that bring us in, and as we start to talk about the return on investment and what the potential is down the road, they have actually turned around to us and said, that's not my interest right now. That's not my number one priority. Some companies' number one priority has been smoking cessation. It's a New York City company. Let's say they're on the 20th floor. Each employee that takes 4 cigarette breaks a day can potentially be taking almost an hour extra of downtime. By the time they get their coats on, they get in the elevator, they get downstairs, they have their cigarette, they talk, they go back up. You're looking at 10, 15 minutes. If that happens 4 times, they've now had a lunch hour and an hour extra that they're being paid. So it's a lot of downtime for the company, especially a sales company. So we've worked with people where that's their main goal. I've worked with companies that came in and said everyone's miserable. They're complaining, they're stressed, but they're not taking their vacation days. We think they're afraid to take their vacation days because there had been layoffs in prior months. And can you help us with that? Can you help us get people to the point where they understand taking a vacation is good? It reduces their stress. And let's talk about behavior and lifestyle modification for them. If savings come down the road, that's great. So everybody's different. It depends upon their mind frame and what their goal is to bringing us in, believe it or not. It's not always cost savings.
Wow. Okay. So the benefits of worksite wellness is, of course, well documented in the research and with all the experience that you have shared with us. But other than this data, what would you suggest to someone who's trying to get into the worksite wellness on what to specifically use in their sales pitch?
I would listen a lot more than I talk. When I meet somebody, if I'm having a conversation, I actually get that sit-down meeting. Very often people in our industry want to share all the information that they think is going to make somebody a lot better. But I would always keep in mind that what we've learned or what we think may not necessarily be what they're ready for or what they want. And the best thing you can do is ask really smart, targeted, open-ended questions that are going to give you information onto how you can help them. And take that time before you turn around and say, great, this is what I have and I want to give you. Think about it and have another conversation a day or two later once you're really able to process what they have and understand, A, can I fit their need myself? How am I going to do that? Do I need other people? And give them a really targeted plan.
Beside that, would you also recommend doing researching on that specific company that you're trying to get into and then build the findings into the same sales pitch?
I don't. I mean, we understand what the company does. I understand their background. I always go in knowing where the locations are, what their employees are, how many employees they have. Also understanding that a company that has, for instance, a company we just worked with had locations in New York, Sacramento, Atlanta, Boulder, and Ohio. And those are such different locations as far as how people are, what they do every day, what they have access to, that it was almost as if we were designing 5 separate wellness programs. The New Yorkers needed something completely different than California, and Ohio needed a third realm of wellness based upon what they had access to and what their experience was. So I would do research in that sense, understanding where are the locations, what could their potential challenges be, what could their potential resources be. So you have that background when you go in. But as far as understanding and knowing what they want from you, you're never going to know that till you have a conversation. But definitely know the background of the company, what they do, maybe what their philosophy is, what their current corporate culture is, and where their employees are.
That's a very, very good tip. And what do you think, in your experience, what do you think the main benefits of working with a wellness coaches for a corporation? What is biggest takeaway for the corporation?
There's a lot. For many companies, it helps them be competitive. Right now, it's a competitive market to get good employees. So if they're offering that value-added benefit, that puts them at the top, so to speak. They're giving back to their employees. They care about their health. I know it sounds sometimes to some people as if it doesn't matter, but in today's world and economy, it does matter, especially the younger people coming out of college. They have so many options where they can go and have great benefits and great pay structure and great value for what they're doing. It wouldn't make sense for them to go to a company in the same sector that doesn't offer that if they can get into one that does. It just puts the employer in a great position as far as caring, getting more productive employees, getting people that want to do more for their company. I mean, there's a company right now out there, there's a few, but there's one that has unlimited vacation days, sick days. So if you said, I want to take off 30 days because I need that for my sanity, you can do that as long as you feel that you can get your work done.
Wow.
I would like to work for a company like that versus one that says you've got to sit at your desk from 9 to 5. So obviously that's extreme, but companies are out there with great resources to give and they have the money to do it. And it's really nice when you can work for a company like that. You're working with people that are like you, health-minded or healthy-minded. They're less stressed. They're more productive. people just get along better. And at the end of the day, the company does make more money.
Wow, that's an impressive result. Anyways, so what do you think would be a good starting point for a nutrition professional who wants to get into corporate wellness? Do you suggest working with smaller companies who don't already have services, or like going for larger corporations who already have some resources like gym, cafeteria, or things like that?
Again, that's a really tough question to answer with one solid answer. You can't. It depends upon that person. What are their strengths? What do they want to do? Where do they feel their capabilities lie? They may have great nutrition information. That doesn't mean they're going to be able to stand up in front of a group and relate and speak to them and understand all the issues.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I would say learn about the business, learn about corporate wellness, find out what works for you. Do you want to be independent? Do you want to go in and do health education? Do you want to do cooking workshops, nutrition workshops? Do you want to show people how to prepare great easy lunches or dinners, give a lecture while you're showing them how to do that? Do you want to do webinars? Do you want to do it by digitally? There's not one. I guess the best answer is there's not one answer on how to do that. It's really identifying your strengths, your background, your education, where you want to take this, how fast you want to get there, and what your comfort level is in approaching companies and how you're going to approach companies.
Absolutely. And would you also like to share an inspiring success story from one of your corporate clients?
My very first client they're still clients. I love them. I think that they have the best philosophy, corporate culture. The offices are designed to make people feel good when they walk in, whether you're an employee or a client. But when they hired us and they gave me off to the HR person that was going to work with me and help me design the program, the first thing she said to me was, nobody wants you here. Nobody wants a wellness program. We don't want to be told what to eat or what to drink or what not to drink. I'm doing this because my boss told me I had to work with you.
Wow.
And I walked out of that meeting and I said to my colleagues, my partners, we're in big trouble. This not starting out well when that's the first conversation you have. But I would say within 2 or 3 months into it, that HR department became our biggest advocates and our best testimonials we've ever had. The woman I was dealing with that day, when I first met her, you could tell she just didn't look vibrant. She didn't look like she had a lot of energy. She obviously was a little cranky to have that conversation with me in the beginning. And she said, self-proclaimed, I'm out every month with 2 or 3 days for a sinus infection. She just can't get rid of them. After working with us, she literally went 6 to 9 months without ever being sick. She started bringing in so many more clients to the company, and as I said, became my best testimonial. Not only a testimonial verbal, but a walking picture of how somebody could change so soon. And not only was it good for us, she got more and more people within the company to come out that were concerned in the beginning and participate. So that, I have to say, is one of my best success stories.
Wow, that's certainly an inspiration, Randy. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for all the information that you shared with us today. Anything else that I may not have covered or you'd like to add?
You've covered so much, and I wish I could be more specific in some of the answers to the questions that you've asked me. But really, I would say corporate wellness is very individualized. It's not a one-size-fits-all, and something a lot of people might want to think about, especially you said if nutritionists or nutrition specialists are going into this field, it's almost like there's 2 layers. In corporate wellness, everybody's not quote-unquote corporate. You have to understand the market, understand their needs, understand how to fill their needs, and get them results. That's to get hired. That's to get in the door and get your program going. But once you're there, it's as if you're talking to a room of individual clients. They're not there at that point for you to come in and be corporate with them. They're there because they want to hear what you have to say. They want to make changes. They want to learn. They don't want to have the nutrition confusion, the stress, and all of the stuff that floats around for most people. So you think about it as a 2-tiered process. The corporate piece is just getting in the door. Once you're in the door, you're just working with regular people, with clients. And that's how I would think about this market going forward as a new person.
That's absolutely a great point to make in the end, because just, corporate is just the other side thing. But when you go there, it's just a setting that you find real people inside and you change real lives.
Correct. That's exactly what it is.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for everything. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
talking with you.
You too. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.